Today we will talk about wrapping rows and columns. What does this mean? It means that we have data in single column or single row, and we want to put each and every element in the proper column. So let's number our data, at least a few first elements. So 1, 2, 3, it doesn't matter is it a column, single column or single row, because we want to wrap by row. So each information should be put in the proper column based on the header. And how can we do it in US Excel? We have two new functions, wrap columns and wrap rows, and we are starting with a vector, so a single column or row. And let's start with column, and we don't take this last number, so we don't have enough elements to fill our the last fifth column, and by that we have to write the numbers or column of elements in the row. So when we wrapping rows, we are putting the number of columns, elements in the row. So in our example here it's a 5, and for now the third argument is empty. And just like that, Excel wrap our data. So we have information in proper columns, but we have one problem, one error in the last cell, because the number of columns isn't divided by the 5, so we don't have this last element. I didn't take it into account, so we have an error. And this third argument of the function is about those missing elements, and I will just write some minuses to show this. When we are writing wrap rows, this text, this information we put in the third argument will be instead of errors. In most cases I prefer just empty text strings, so two double quotes, and I just see empty cell. And when we are talking about empty cells, we have to remember in most cases empty cells are treated as a 0, but I don't want to show this 0. If I don't want to show this 0, I have to add some modification to my formula, and it's about this row. I will add if function if those values in these columns are equal to empty text string, so double quotes, I want to return empty text strings, so once again two double quotes. In other cases I want to return the value from this column. So when we have value in this range, we will return this value, but if it's an empty cell, we will return an empty text string. That's a bit different for Excel than an empty cell, so we won't see this 0, and all parentheses are in the place, so we can just press enter, and we wrap our data into proper rows and columns, and we have two empty cells at the end. And now we can go with other examples. This one will be wrapping two rows, but we are wrapping single row this time. And once again we are putting in the second argument numbers of columns, elements in the row. So once again it's 5, and in this example we don't need third argument, so just 5, and we have two rows because we have here 2 cells, and it's 2 by 5, so 10 elements we have wrap. Now I can go to wrap columns. In the case of the wrap columns function, we are selecting vectors, so once again single column or row, but in the second argument we are putting the number of elements in column, so rows. And we have in our example 4 regions at the time. So now first of all we have elements from the first column, then from the second, third, and so on. In our example we have 4 elements in the column, so we can just write this, and in this example we don't have any empty cells, so we can just wrap our function and enter. So we have wrap it. So this time we are putting our elements from top to bottom. So let's number them 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th is here. So we are putting them from top to bottom, then from left to right. We just have to remember about this. And we have here a single row, so we want to wrap columns from this data, and this time we have only 2 elements in the column, so just 2, and we have proper data now with information in proper columns.